Super. And can you guys all see my presentation? Yes. Okay, super. All right. So welcome everyone. Guess what today is? It's it's what we've all been working so hard to actually now celebrate our 2021 fellows. Today is our business plan presentation. It's an important milestone because this is really the main criteria for graduating from the program. And we have 4 teams presenting today, and I will introduce them shortly. And we have our judges that are going to be evaluating the team pitches today. So let's get started. If you can, when I introduce you, if you could just wave so that they'll see you by the picture, but at least we'll get a chance to recognize you. So the 4 teams are, we have Habu House. Great. We have Helen Peterson and Carrie Young. And actually, this also will be the order in which they will present. We have Turnkey Esports. That's Donna Walters and Justice Harry. Justice, we have to get a nice profile photo for you for next time. And representing Safety Center 2.0, we have Alan Darte and Carla Hendricks. Yay. And our 4th team is Future Gen, represented by Eddie Mazariegos. Woohoo! All right. So that's our 4 teams presenting today. We have actually 4 judges. And I think we're still waiting for Mike Niddle, but in either case, I like to take a moment to introduce our judges today. That's Sienna Crawford, George Parrish, and we have an alum and board emeritus joining us, Nikki Peterson, as well as our founder, Jim Corbett. So why don't we quickly go and introduce them. I'll start with Sienna.
Good evening, everybody. So excited to be here tonight. And I really enjoyed reviewing everybody's pre-promotional items. So last night I got a chance to do my fill out all your initial survey sheets. So I'm excited to hear the final pitches tonight, and congratulations for making it through to the end. I know it's a big deal. I'm sure you're all nervous. So tonight I join you as a supporter, a huge supporter of SEA, also an investor in the startup community myself for many years. And I'm so excited to see what you all have to say tonight. So good luck, everybody. Take a deep breath, and you've all done a lot of work tonight. So congratulations.
Let's see, and we have George.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is George Parrish. I've been a part of the startup scene for about close to 18 years in Silicon Valley and San Francisco. Ran my own pitch event in the city for close to 12 years at Google. Came out to Stockton, year 2000, and have been running my own version of an incubator since probably 2017 to the present. I've probably sat through 7,000 or 8,000 pitches during that time. So this is my sweet spot. One of the things that I always hope for is that everybody knocks it out of the park. I'm not one of those people or one of those judges that comes to an event and hopes you fall on your face. I really want you guys to succeed in the best possible way. And let's just see what we could do to help you after tonight to realize your dreams. Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Corbett. I'm the proud founder of the Sacramento Entrepreneurship Academy. It's always special for me to be part of these presentations because I love seeing people be anxious, nervous, put their self on the line, and come forward with certain passion about their idea and plan. And to say I'm proud to be part of this organization is a gross understatement. I've had the pleasure of meeting so many extraordinary young people through the Academy that it's made my life fuller, better, and without a doubt special. So welcome all of you tonight. Christy, thank you so much for the kind invitation. I miss all of you, the people that I know and love, and the people that I have yet to meet in the same room at the same time.
Hello and good evening. My name is Nikki Peterson. I am a senior program manager at the UC Davis Institute for Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And I started with SCA back in 2010 and came through the program. And that's pretty much how I ended up on my job at UC Davis. So I've been there for almost 10 years. And I really enjoy these presentations. I love to see how far you've come. It's a really great pleasure to just listen to your ideas, and I hope you have some fun tonight. I know that it's sometimes hard because you get so nervous, and just know that we're all here to support you. I want to echo what George said about this being a really supportive place. So it's a Shark Tank, but it's kind of like Dolphin Tank. So just
Christian, just a short intro.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. I'm Christian. I've started in 1996 in the US, coming from France after a PhD and an MBA here. In Charlie's Torquist Incubator, started a company called the Market Tech Group, which is a medical marketing consulting company. We serve the big medtech company in figuring out their product plan, pricing strategy worldwide. A team about 22 consultants in 3 locations, 2 in Europe, 1 in the US. Parallel to that, I started with Kerry Adams, a small investment fund, a pilot fund. We made 7 investments seed stage in medical technology startups. And I had the pleasure to be judge on Big Bang. Back in the days, not as much as anymore. There's so many hours in a day. And support ACA as a board member. I was before that a supporter. I don't know how you call it, Christy, but I like entrepreneurs. I like people who start and dream. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So my name is Anthony Garcia. I've been on the board for about 1.5 years now. This is my second pitch presentation I've gotten to see. So real excited to see what you all have put together. I know my team has put their best foot forward. I was proud to be a mentor this year. As far as my own personal history, I was introduced to the SEA through Bank Tank. I'm the Vice President of Merchant Services at 5 Star Bank, which means I work very closely with our venture banking team and help a lot of startups get on their feet banking wise with banking products in various ways. And of course, Bank Tank should be back underway this year, I would imagine. Given the current environment, we should be able to get it back up and running. But that's a fantastic opportunity to see some pitches as well. So really excited for tonight. Good luck, everybody.
Is it my turn, Christy?
Yes, just a short intro,
Okay.
Deanna.
I'm Deanna Daly. I teach at Sac State in the College of Business. I've been on the board for a couple years now, and I do some consulting too. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing these today because I was also at the last one. So I'm kind of curious to see how they've changed over the last, week or two.
Good. All right, so we're going to round off with our board president.
Hi, everybody. Lori Dakin. I am the current president of the board. I have been a board member and I'm an alum of the program. So I know exactly how all of you feel tonight about giving your presentation. And I just want to echo what Sienna and George said, that we're all here to support you. And I'm very excited to hear how you've evolved over the past couple of weeks. It's been a pleasure to watch each team transform. So let's get this party started.
All right, sounds good. And we also have other alums, as I mentioned, so we'll just do like a big wave to them. Thank you for continuing to support SEA and paying it forward. We definitely appreciate you being here because you, like I, know exactly what they're going through. And so we really appreciate that camaraderie. All right, as Lori said, let's get the party going. So what makes SEA different is that we have two components. Like other programs, they have a pitch component, and we also obviously have that because that's our purpose for today. But beyond that, we tend to definitely have more substance in the terms of being able to make sure that all the fellows are able to develop a very thoughtful and I would say insightful business plan. And that really makes us, I say, pretty competitive when we're go up against others in this ecosystem during pitch competitions. And that's represented, for example, Christian mentioned the Big Bang. I won that in 2019, and even some recent fellows have won it, in fact, this year. So I find that in the 35 years that we've been doing the SEA, I do like the fact that, we tend to be old school, but it definitely really provides a very competitive, very nice value add that really gives you I would say a very sound foundation to be a serial entrepreneur. Let's see, so we met the judges. So let me dive right in. So thank you so much for delivering your business plan materials. I know it was a tremendous amount of effort, and I just want to applaud, give yourself an applause for all the hard work. And I know that there were a lot of times, a lot of hours spent on it. So why don't you guys just give yourself a pat on the back and just a sigh of relief, because today's the fun part. For the judges are our outside business leaders and also the board members. Please take the time. I know some of you already completed your evaluation. You need to make sure that you complete your evaluation of the business plan, because we need to combine that with your scores for the pitch in order for it to count. Any questions regarding this, please just enter it in the chat. All right, so the second part of our final presentation is what we're gonna do today. Here are the guidelines. We'll give each team 30 seconds, maybe no more than a minute to kind of set up, get their presentation shared, and they'll have a firm 8 minutes to present. They practice pitching within this time frame, so I'm very confident that they will maintain this time constraint. I will politely stop if any of the team members go over their allotted time. I'll also give them a 2-minute warning so they're not abruptly interrupted. Fellows, any questions regarding this? Okay, cool. All right, for the judges, you have been purposely selected because you guys are supporters of entrepreneurs. You guys are entrepreneurs themselves, and we like that you're very much. What did George say? You are business angels. I really love that description. You have the soft spot to help people that are aspiring entrepreneurs, that are early stage, and you want to be able to to really add to this foundation that we're providing with this program. And also you want a vibrant startup ecosystem, because it's like a virtuous cycle, right? The more entrepreneurs that we unleash into our community, the stronger it gets. So what the fellows will get from the evaluators are very thoughtful, very constructive feedback. And it's a nice cross section of outside people as well as SEA people. And it's going to be a very valuable insight to where you can go after this program. I will allot 15 minutes after each team presents. And because we do have a lot of evaluators, we'll make sure that everybody has an opportunity to ask questions. So I will do like a rotation. So if you can, judges, please raise your hand and I will call on you. I'll apologize in advance if I don't get a chance to call on you, but if you could put your questions in the chat, we'll try to make sure that we get your questions addressed eventually by the fellows. And as time permits, we will open up the Q&A to other participants like our alums that are here and any of the mentors. Any questions? So far, so good? All right. Okay, so no surprises here. The pitch criteria, we're looking for completeness of the business pitch in terms of explaining what the pain point is, a clear articulation of the value proposition, knowing who are the target customers, what the business model looks like, how big is the potential, and is there an unfair advantage, right? And ideally, they will be able to have a killer close with a good call to action. In addition to the completeness of the pitch, we also obviously want to give some feedback on the delivery. How effective are they delivering their pitch? Are they clear? Are they excited? Did they tell a story? Hopefully it's not dry. They provided examples and they're talking at a level that most people would understand and they can relate to this audience. All right, that's pretty much it. So I think we're ready to go. Any questions? All right. And what I will do is here are the links that you will fill out. We're going to go in this order. I will put it also in the chat. And that's pretty much it. All right.
Question, Christy. I noticed that the order was a little different on the initial slide versus the one you just showed. I just wanted to be sure.
Yes, I apologize. Let me correct that. If it's okay, we have you third. Thank you. And just that's how we got the business plan submitted. And so I wanted to be fair about that. Okay, so I'm happy to kick this off with our first team, Habu House. We have Helen Peterson and Carrie Young. Okay,
is that looking good for everybody?
yes. And when whoever's the first person to speak, I will start the clock.
Okay, Carrie, go ahead.
I'll go ahead. Good evening. Please allow Helen and I to introduce you to Habu House. The problem is everyone is losing in the single family residential rental landscape. Tenants have disengaged absentee landlords and landlords struggle with finding quality tenants. Tenants that are also disengaged, don't really care about the home. The narrative on both sides of the equation is, it's just a rental. And with that, the community also suffers. The home becomes subpar. It's no secret that rental demand is posed for growth. We will continue to have a supply-demand imbalance causing affordability issues. House buying power is low, even in an affordable market such as Sacramento as compared to other West Coast cities. So we have a lot of renters, yet landlords do the bare minimum in property improvements, which does not make sense. Does that make sense now, considering that 2020 all made us acutely aware of our surroundings, our home, our sanctuary? It left us wanting more. It left us wanting a better quality living. We know this because we've done our research, and national home builders have done their research as well too. And that's why they're now selling new construction residential to investors, advertising them as quality rentals. So if the demand is there for quality, what about the inventory? Well, Sacramento has a very good stock of existing detached single-family rental homes. We say just waiting for a little upgrade. And Sacramento is a magnet for millennials who right now are at the peak age of lifestyle choices, searching for houses. I'm Carrie, the single-family investment property owner. In a second here, you're going to meet Helen. We connect the two markets together. We have conservatively figured the total addressable market for detached single-family residential homes in the Sacramento metropolitan statistical area to be around 230,000. They are ready and waiting for today's renters by choice and millennials on the move who want quality, who will steer the $3 trillion single-family home rental sector.
So how do we do this? How do we combine these two markets that we know are wanting on both ends? We are a third-party certification firm for rental units. So think Airbnb Plus or CarMax. We are the people who tell you that when you are going to rent, there are certain kind of things that you can expect out of that experience. And we know certifications work. We all rely on them every single day, whether you're nut free or trying to be a certified B Corporation or you want something energy efficient. We trust these little markers on our products, on our life to tell us what to expect out of a product. We even let Oprah tell us what to read. Just having a third person having checked out something for you brings peace of mind, consistency, and trust to a process. And like the single family couldn't be more primed for that. And it also tells you what kind of experience you're going to have. So with the diners, drive-ins, and dives, you can expect a cool, maybe grungy experience. But if you see that Michelin star, you're going to know it's going to be a little fancy. You should wear, maybe something nice. So that's just to say certification can go a long way in telling you what you can expect out of an experience. And so we have a proprietary checklist that all Habu houses would have to pass in order to be certified. So there are things around the environment and being drought resistant. There's safety, especially keeping in mind single women who are renting and some of the standards that we want when we're living in an area. There's design, just succulence and minimalism, all those kind of things that millennials really expect out of the Airbnb Plus, we can bring to that rental space. There's usability, and then there's just this kind of intangible community aspect. Does it brighten the block? Is it an asset for that community? And this certification process really relies on this checklist in order to make it onto our website, make it onto our search engines.
With Habu House, everybody wins. The tenant gets an elevated renting experience. The landlord gets quality tenants that are emotionally invested in the home and will preserve the asset. And California gets eco-friendly beautification. And they thank you for landlords getting rid of the grass in the front yard. In my opinion, the real winners actually are the landlords, the homeowners. Right now, homeowners don't really know who they're renting to. But with Habu House, we know at least the renter understands that the homeowner has gone above and beyond the call of duty. To make this a good home, Habu House will develop a fun-loving code of conduct so renters know what to expect in caring for the home. And by and large, renters will appreciate the Habu House mission. We're in this together. And landlords need to remain nimble. Getting their investment ready, Habu House ready and certified gives them an edge should they decide to pivot and or sell or transition to new tenants. Gives them justification for an increase in rents too. At $25 a month, we're asking for an annual 1-year commitment. That's $300 a year for the investment to set your property apart from the others to rise above. We also generate revenue on our Habu House Ready Consulting. We'll work with homeowners and investors to prep their home for certification, particularly as we ramp up our brand and build out our Habu House models. The consulting is just going to be a very small portion of our revenue, about 15% for the first 3 years with a 20% profit margin.
And so when we think about where we sit in this market, we really see everybody as our partner. We really aren't competing with anyone because we're that third-party certification. So we're going to partner with residential property management companies, and real estate agents. We're going to work with local employers to, be embedded in those kind of moving packages and really that advice for renters in the area. And then the big thing is getting embedded in these search engines. So whether that's advertising or a filter on these sites, being able to search for a Habu house will be incredibly important. And then we also have our own search engine website where you can find all listed Habu houses. With a really low expense rate and breaking into San Jose in our second year of business, you'll see that we quickly move into the green. So by year 3, at right over 1,000 certifications, which we think is a very conservative approach to this, we're already over $200,000 in revenue. So this is just another way of seeing that. You'll see that we start with the gray, which is Sacramento, and then as we add San Jose, and I think it goes without saying that we can add Oakland, we can add the Bay, and very quickly this number gets very big.
For the first year, Helen and I will be the only two running the show without a salary. We bring to the table a good balance of the school of hard knocks, polish, and depth of character. And we look forward to adding more talent to the team after we prove viability after year 1 and seek substantial investment. While there's currently no other company providing a certification for an elevated renting experience, we do recognize there is plenty of competition out there in the marketplace. And that is any existing firm right now that specializes, that's well-funded and specializes in the single family rental market. Our competitive advantage is we are the neutral third party, and we are built from the heart with authenticity. Given our revenue projections and a personal investment and time slated to pilot Habu House #1 with traction testing this fall and a plan to go without salary for at least 1 year of operation, we are kindly asking for initial seed money from angel investment. More importantly, we are looking for a village, for a thumbs up, supporters, designers, landscape architects, a panel of advisors, bonus if they're investors, and first adopters, appointments, and guidance. We recognize that we need to move really fast. We're on a mission. We're on a mission to make renting feel good, to build an enduring brand, and to build a business that is scalable tenfold. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Helen. All right, I appreciate that. You guys came just a few seconds over. I think it was worth letting you guys continue. Okay, so let's turn it over to our judges for any questions. If you guys just raise your hand, I'll be able to call on you.
Really quickly, Christy, should I stop share or how do you prefer?
Leave it on just in case the questions they ask may refer to your slides.
Okay.
Good. Let's see, George.
Yeah.
Any questions that you'd like to ask?
Yeah, I do. I do. First of all, Carrie, Helen, thank you very much for presenting tonight. I appreciate this. It's an interesting business vertical you're playing in because that particular business vertical is ripe at this particular point in time. And, there's always things to consider as to, how you're going to be able to scale something like this. The question I have to you, since I don't have your business plan, right in front of me, it's on my computer here and everything, but the ask, how much are you asking for a seed round right now?
Helen, do you want to take this or should I?
You can take this one. Yeah.
To get us started, we need 20,000 in startup capital.
Okay. And what question also I have is your MVP built?
It is not built yet.
Okay, and so with no MVP, no beta or anything else, right? At this point, you're basically at the idea stage. Is that correct?
We are at the idea stage. We have spoken to investors and we do have a little traction. So we have done a little bit of homework, but we're looking to actually, with that $20,000 investment, get started in January 2022. But we're looking to actually do kind of our beta testing this fall with an actual property.
Okay. One of the things that was a little, the focus of the pitch, and obviously you're going to be taking this to investors and you'll have an investment deck as opposed to a pitch deck to be able to present to them, and you'll have a lot more numbers to show to them at that particular point in time. The focus of the pitch when it first started out, I didn't know if the solution was for landlords or if it was for renters. And then it became pretty clear. I think the quicker you get to that, the better off you'll be, so that whoever is listening to the pitch and everything, especially if they play in this business vertical, there won't be any hesitation on them. It'll help set their mind straight as to where you're going, because you're not looking for a rent qualification tool for renters or a rent verification tool for renters. Basically, you're tapping the landlords for the $500 fee for the year, correct?
Mhm.
Okay, now, is that for only one unit for $500? Or is that for all of their units underneath their umbrella? Maybe they're a mom and pop operation that has maybe 3 or 4 small apartment buildings in addition to a couple of rental houses. So, make that really, really clear. And when you're looking at retail projections, always think of the fact that investors are going to be wanting to, look, they're going to beat you up over this, but your numbers are at the 3x times from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. If they come back and they say, we want to see 5x, we want to see 10x as a return on our money, and then we want to see that in your numbers, just be prepared for those kinds of things. Okay. So very good. I think your seed I want your seed round, especially when you're talking to investors, to look for a runway of 2 years of operations, okay? And whatever that might be for you and everything. And don't be afraid to ask for a lot of money, because a lot of accredited investors won't touch anything under $100,000. That's like the minimum. So if you're going to ask for a couple 100,000, $250,000 or something like that, then you have a runway for 2 years, and you never have to go back and try to raise money, and you can concentrate on your startup during that time. If you're constantly trying to raise money, your startup is going to suffer. That's an observation I've seen happen time and time again with startups from time immemorial. Okay. All in all, I think you may be onto something. I thought that it was presented very, very well. And I think that, with a little more focus and adjustment to a couple of few issues here, I think you might be on your way. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, George. We'll go to Sienna next.
Good evening. Fantastic job lately, ladies. I was so excited after I read through everything last night to really kind of hear your voice behind this. I feel like being on an investor board panel in some of the startups in the past, that's a big piece, is your voice to the pitch, right? And your vision. And so you did a great job with that. It's hard following George because you really nailed everything, a lot of the pieces. So I want to reiterate, I think that your MVP model is huge. I think if you had an MVP model and you had a few metrics to validate what your pain point and your solution to your pain point in the initial part, I think that would make it more clear. As George was saying, when the first few slides, it became a little unclear. Okay, what is the problem? What's the solution? Who's our target market and our target segment on both ends? Because it looks like you're sort of bridging a gap between both, right? The renters and the landlords. And you're giving a more quality experience to both. It's an opportunity to sort of sift through the masses, if you will. And so it's really important, I think, that you validate how you're going to approach that, and so that they can see the solution, the clear way to the solution from your model. The other piece to that, I think, was really important, and I'm just going to speak to what George said as well, and that's that 2-year tread. If I'm not mistaken, you both said that you would be full-time. Is that correct? You said without pay for the first 2 years?
Yeah, that is correct.
And I know that's a huge value too to investors. They want to see full-time CEOs and, depending on founding members, essentially, at least one, for the first 1 or 2 years. But definitely make sure that you're anticipating that you don't have to go back to either do a pro rata round with your initial investors or add on investment funds. raising money and fundraising, as you'll soon find, is very time consuming, and it can take away and it can dilute the core focus and the mission of what the initial startup is really focusing on. So that's a big piece. And then, you know, other than that, I think you guys did a fantastic job. I think metrics, you know, validate all day long. Numbers always speak to the story and the vision and the mission that you guys are promoting here. So, but great job, ladies, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Right. Anyone else?
I had a couple comments or questions. A great job, by the way. This was really great to hear in person. I like the idea as well. And my thoughts are really geared on landlords' investment up front and when they might see a return on their investment, because not only will you have to repay investors, I can see trying to get landlords to want to bring it up to your standards and what that might cost per rental unit to do and how that would make sense for the landlords.
Yeah, that's definitely so. I think the question I really heard is how do we justify some of that upfront costs? And I think really for the first couple of years, we're probably going to be targeting homes that are already at these standards. So really not trying to kind of like bring people along, but finding those ready-made single family homes. But to your point, I do think as we mature and we have, you know, maybe a little bit more flexibility, that's where that Habu House Ready consulting really comes in. And that model is actually what we are thinking is really based on how much more you can charge after you kind of go through the Habu House Ready consulting. So we would take a percentage of how much you could increase your rent, really showing that we are tying our costs to your value.
That's great. Thank you.
Oh, Christy, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. Any other questions from the board?
I do, Christy.
Please.
2 questions. What is your comparable for an exit? So you want to have an investor, they're going to ask for your exit strategy. The second question is, I don't know how you're going to scale up your certification program. There's a lot of checklists. How human labor intensive is that?
Do you want to take this one, Christy? Carrie?
Yeah, so the exit strategy at this point in our plan is to, once we prove viability after 1 year, we plan to, you know, seek investment. So that is currently what we are hoping to do. And as far as and now I'm drawing a blank. I apologize, Christian, on your second question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The scalability, but what you just answered is not an exit strategy. You know, the investors, they want to see their money back. So how we get the money back if we invest? So typically you go, a strategic will acquire you, or I don't think you're going to plan for an IPO or something like that. So I'd like to know what is your comparable in the industry for the valuation that you hope for. That comes back to the 10x thing that George was talking about. And then the second one again is the scalability.
I think ultimately we would like to be acquired. And then the scalability, I don't have a really good answer for you at this time on this.
I mean, I'll chime in here a little bit. I do think for the first couple of years, like I mentioned before, it will be a little labor intensive with Carrie and I doing some of that inspecting and doing that cross-listing for the checklist. And then as we mature, I think like Airbnb, we will turn to automation tools to validate a rental unit to say they meet this checklist. So some of that will be on the landlord to upload, you know, pictures and evidence that they meet the checklist. And then, you know, much like Airbnb kind of drop by us to make sure that that is true. So I do think as we mature, there's a lot of opportunity to make this really automated in ways that we are already seeing in the shared economy in other areas.
Okay, very good. I think I heard in your rehearsal a week ago, somebody or a mentor saying that you were like the Carfax of
Yeah.
I mean, you could have said that we want to be the Carfax model or something, you know,
Yeah.
comparable wise. So I don't think you can be an Airbnb, but something similar, comparable. You study what was the exit there, acquisition, so you get a valuation understanding for your investors to tell your story.
Sounds good. Okay, so we have
Thank you.
maybe 3 minutes. Any final questions from our judges? Okay.
I do. I got one last question. When you incorporate, how are you going to incorporate?
We had priced in starting off as the LLC, so not incorporating.
Okay. Okay. Any reason why the LLC route versus Delaware C Corp S Corp?
Ultimately, I think, yeah, we would love to do Delaware C Corp. I think with year one, you know, we're still trying to prove that viability. And we thought, okay, after that point in time, you know, we still just would work with attorneys in incorporating to Delaware Corporation.
Okay.
We wanted to keep our initial startup costs low.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Big applause for Carrie and Helen of Habu House. We're going to take a 5-minute pause here to allow our judges to complete the evaluation. I have the link over there in the chat. Let's see. Does anybody have any questions with the link? I think it's, I can, and if you have any problems, do let me know. And then during this time, let's get Turnkey Esports if they want to start getting ready for their presentation. All right. Yeah, so feel free to take this break. We're going to start up again at 7:44.
Hey, Justice, are you able to hear me?
Are you talking to us, Christy?
I was. That was like, you missed my great opening. So I'm happy to now present to you our second team, Turnkey Esports. We have Donna Walters and Justice Harry. I'm very proud of their accomplishment. There was a bit of a pivot for them. So it's amazing what they've accomplished, even if they had switched teams in the middle of the program. So on that note, you guys can kick it off.
Sure. Real quick before we get started, though, I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our mentors. Thank you so much for everything that you all have done. You all have just been absolutely amazing, and really appreciate all the time and energy that you spent helping us. So thank you.
All right, are we good to start?
Yes, please do.
All right. Well, in that case, hello, everyone. I'm Justice Harry, and I'm partnered with Donna Walters, and together we created Turnkey Esports. Our job is to help faculty members of higher education campuses who wish to build an esports program for their school, but don't know exactly how to create one. The tools and resources necessary to help them build it either by themselves or with our support. And we know the service is necessary, as Cal State Northridge has already expressed interest in our program or in our services. But to then give a little bit of background information on what esports is, we have a quick video to show you.
Is the audio on?
Oh, my mistake. Hold on. Okay, you guys good?
At the highest levels.
Innovating spaces across multiple industries, this once overlooked hobby has exploded into an industry that is now valued at over $1 billion. This is esports.
So as you can see, esports is a social activity that not only brings people together, but also helps push them to become stronger and smarter people through competition. Donna and I have seen the positive impact gaming can have for its players, and universities have seen the value it can have for its students. However, there are still many universities that don't know how to properly implement esports onto the campus, and so they still have questions such as, who do I talk to get started in the industry? Where do I, who do I talk to learn more about esports? And even then, like, how do I ensure that our program is going to be good enough to entice students to come to our campus? And we have the answers to that, as Donna and I are lifelong gamers and leaders in the competitive and collegiate spaces. Donna has founded successful gaming initiatives for the California State University System, Big Sky Conference, and the California State Fair. Well, I've been a competitive gamer for over 10 years, and we're both mental health and wellness advocates, so we will strive for our services or programs to be fun and inclusive. And we do that through genuine service with a dedication of commitment, customizable plans for colleges who wish to have a unique program for their campus, and step-by-step guidance on the path to our success with continuing relationships with our customers. And to go into more details on just how we do that, I'll send it off to Donna.
Thank you, thank you. So as Justice had addressed, the first question is, who do we talk to? Next, the questions really are, where do I start and how do I get there? We offer 3 tiers in our one-time setup packages where campus leaders can really choose the best fit based on their timelines, their budgets, and their campus's needs. All 3 of these tiers are designed so that way you can get your program up and running quickly and easy with little extra effort for administrators. The rare tier is actually a great entry point. It's a do-it-yourself toolkit with downloadable content. It's perfect for student leaders or staff who want to create with minimal guidance. The Epic tier, which is the next level up, is a personalized campus assessment and has an executable action plan that comes at the end of it. It's best for campus leaders who are new to esports and want an introduction to the space. The last tier, which is the legendary tier, is a fully customized experience. It's really best suited for campuses that are ready to take action, that are also ready to create unique programming that want to stand apart from all of their competition. So after the setup, unlike our competitors, we offer ongoing support, and that's going to be through membership options to make sure that their programs are sustainable and that students continue to be engaged. Our subscriptions include downloadable content from the Do-It-Yourself Toolkit, a certificate of authenticity, and that's for current subscribers only. An annual tournament entry, so we would waive that fee, which would be about $120 per team. Annual event access, which is about $60 per person for each member on their team. And then partner discounts, so that way when colleges and universities are getting ready to launch their programs, they can save a lot of money on equipment. So these subscriptions range between $500 and $1,500 annually. They're based on the organization's makeup, and they are offered to student clubs, collegiate programs, corporate partners, and coaches or individuals. Based on the current market for professional services and team workload, we are anticipating 1 educational grant to be awarded to us, and then onboarding 3 colleges and gaining 4 subscriptions in year 1. Year 2, we're looking at obtaining 2 educational grants, onboarding 5 colleges, additional colleges, and then looking at a subscription growth rate of about 1.5% and an 80% retention rate compared to year 1. So year 3, we're looking at educational grants being 3 additional educational grants, the continued growth in subscription, and then also onboarding 6 additional colleges. So previously mentioned was the certificate of authenticity. A sudden increase in popularity of esports really made the industry see an overwhelming response for new entrants to this space. Though these new entrants really mean well, they oftentimes lack a knowledge of and understanding of the space itself, and it negatively affects the community because they're not holding true to the culture and the values that we really want to have. And so this is most often seen through the misspelling of the word esports, but our certificate program was created to help provide consistency, really maintain that quality, and ensure that, that students and faculty and staff are able to fully utilize and feel confident in knowing that they are gaming with, actively engaged in gaming for good. So why does all of this matter? It matters because gamers are the prime age for influence when it comes to cultivating brand loyalty. So research shows that the average age of gamers are between 17 and 26 years old. They are expert users in the esports and gaming spaces. And our customer interviews found that campuses really want to enhance that student engagement piece. So they are really excited to bring esports to campus in meaningful ways. And we are able to fulfill those needs with over 20 unique areas of development. So our target market is going to be the campus administrators. They are new to esports, they have limited knowledge, they have access to many resources, but we also have a student user group. They are, like I said before, experts in the space, but they have limited resources. And so combined, we're really able to help both parties out. The European and Asian markets are actually looking to North American colleges for guidance on setting up and have a huge opportunity to be the driving force for global development in both the collegiate and high school markets. So with over $112 million in potential revenue, that averages to about 4,000 per university, and available total market of 28,000. As we grow, we plan to integrate high schools and further support colleges. We're going to tap into these markets with building alliances and channels. And we really want to bring you along on our mission and empower students through sponsorship. So come and join us today. We are looking to raise a minimum of $50,000 to ensure we can complete our next steps.
Sure. Yeah.
Interesting.
Can't hear Christy.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. Yes, thank you, esports. Sorry, Turnkey esports. We'll now turn it over to questions from the judges. I'd like to start off with the ones that have not asked questions yet. So let's see, Anthony, Deanna, Lori, do you want to kick off our initial questions? And if you don't, that's okay. All right.
I have a comment.
Okay, Lori.
So I thought great job in helping people understand what exactly esports is and how it works. It's a shame that the video audio, I missed a little bit of the audio at the beginning. So that might be, just make sure that's up and ready to go. Donna, I thought you did a great job at slowing down. So good for you.
Thank you, Lori.
But I do think for me, obviously I can see the potential market here, but I think there needs to be a little more clarity around who you're going to approach and who you're going to approach first, and then how you're going to grow. Because I felt like there's like 28,000 universities and CSU is here and all that stuff. So I thought maybe if you just gave your first two priorities and then talk about getting into Europe and Asia, that might I don't know, just a little more direct approach to what you were going to do, as opposed to, I felt like it might have been a little like all over the place a little bit. Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't have my video on, my bad.
Thank you.
But anyway, just that was my feedback. Otherwise, great job to you both for putting that all together and making it understandable to those of us who aren't familiar with esports.
Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Deanna. I just want to echo kind of what Lori said. I think you guys did a great job, and I saw some evolution between the last one and this one. So yay! It was awesome. I think just how you're going to reach, your target market would be the question. And I know that, I mean, because I kind of know Donna a little bit, I have some ideas as to how that would happen. But for people who don't know, just kind of explaining that piece of it a little bit better probably would be good. But I thought it was really good. And you guys seem credible, in terms of your own backgrounds for this sort of a business. So
thank you very much.
All right. Let's see. Anthony, any questions on your side?
No, I think Lori and Deanna covered it pretty well. I like the idea. I think it's fantastic. I'm myself, I've never been great at video games. So I'm kind of the layest of lay people to explain this stuff to. And so I really enjoyed how it did identify with the audience very well. And it was a great presentation. Good job, guys.
Great, thank you. Always happy to teach you and play some games with you. So if you're ever interested, you just let me know.
I had friends that fell asleep and still beat me at video. So I got a ways to go.
All right, so let's turn it over to our judges. Sienna is raising her hand there.
Yeah, great job, you guys. I mean, after reviewing your materials last night, listen, this is completely outside of my wheelhouse. Entirely. It's probably better lives in not my husband, my older brother is definitely engaged in this vein. So I guess for me, the biggest piece from an investor standpoint would be that initial clarity, right? That initial buy-in. I really want to see you guys define, we call it the problem. I mean, it's not necessarily a problem that you're solving, but you're solving an accessibility problem, right? So this is a market, there's a demand for it. It's something that's out there that people are engaged in. There's a lot of benefits to it in the educational sector. And there's a lot of ways that you need to mandate that, right? And streamline it and make sure, like you said, that you're making sure that everybody's gaming for good, so to speak. So I think initially on the inset, the first few slides, when you really define that, make sure that you get the guy, you engage the investor in this is the vision, this is what's out there, this is the market. I sort of miss that. And I'm still a little unclear right now to actually what you're providing. Is it an interactive platform that you're maintaining over a period of time? Are you coaching each package that you spoke about? What exactly are you doing with what's your value proposition for each package? Really get clear on that, because for me, that's where you kind of lost me. All the numbers sound great, but I don't get how they correlate to what you're offering. So that's my piece there.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Christy, we can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. Any questions? We have about 8 minutes. Feedback?
I have a couple questions. Or I have a question. I have to jump in here because it's Donna. She went through one of our UC Davis programs, so it's so good to see you. And you've come a long way with your presentation as well. Really impressive. My question is more around how many colleges you'll need, what you're going to spend the investment money on, those kinds of questions. How many colleges you'll need to break even with the money that you're asking for? Because when I heard 50,000, to me, that doesn't sound like a lot to get started with something like this, but maybe it's because I don't understand the industry as much. And so I would just want to know, once you start to bring on your first customers, how many of those do you need really to make this worthwhile?
Absolutely. Those are great questions. So basically the way that we're looking at it is starting with the Chancellor's office with the California State University system and, really integrating our services through them first. So we do have, some sponsorships that are going to be coming from that avenue and maybe some support. So that way it's going to minimize some of the expenses that we have that we need to really uphold. And then also because of how slowly, the higher education processes move and because of the traditional environment, Justice and I are making sure that we're taking a good approach where we're going to be working part-time on that in order to really make sure that we're paying close attention to each of our clients. And so the model that we're looking at first is really within the CSU system to begin with. There are currently 2 campuses out of the 23 that have something set up. So we are now looking at the remaining campuses for our target, initial target market.
That's great.
Okay.
I got a question. How do you define the number of users on each campus? So if you're looking at California State University system and there's, let's just say off the top of my head, there's 12 in the state of California. And then you kind of look over, University of California system, and then even add in the community college districts and everything like that. When you start talking about market viability and everything like that, the size of your market, you have to start being able to drill down and explain to them that, hey, look, this may not sound like too big of a deal, but actually the core market of users at Cal State Northridge is actually going to be more than what's going to be at Berkeley. And versus maybe something down at Long Beach State might trump them all, because it's all going to come down to the users. One of the things I would like to see you guys come up with is a case scenario of going onto a campus with 500 users and everything, and this is how much it's going to cost the school. And it's obvious that the users of this particular platform aren't paying anything because the school is basically picking up the tab, correct?
Yes. That's
and then you have a support cost to go along with that. So abandoning the world of SaaS, you've kind of gone back to the old mainframe enterprise software model where you got software and you're paying maintenance, or you guys call it support, which is fine. But that number, give us a number based on entry level for the school, maintenance, how much it's going to cost for this amount of users, so that investors, when they start taking a look at this, listen, their internal calculator just starts going bing, 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 bing. They know the business vertical. They can put the numbers together right off the top of their heads. And then here's the other part I want to talk about, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but okay, you're asking 50K, all right? And obviously, let's just look at the real world just for a second and step away from the startup world. If each of you guys took a salary of $4,000 a month, just a salary, and that's to cover the cost of your space, your co-working space, and your meals, and putting gas in your car, and having an apartment to live in as opposed to living in your car. I mean, that 50K is not going to go very far, So that's one of the reasons why, and I don't want to beat this drum too hard, you start looking at 2 years of expenses to be able for your ask to be a reasonable ask. Investors know how much it costs for 2 founders or 3 founders or 4 founders to try to run an early stage startup for the first 2 years of its existence. You guys want to concentrate on building the platform, building the infrastructure, talking to the administrators. You don't want to be going out and trying to raise money every 6 months because the company will have a very difficult time getting off the ground. Okay? So, I mean, look, do I understand your space? No. Do I understand education? Yes. Good luck. Good job so far. And I think with a little clarification and a little help and rounding out a couple of these rough edges there, you might be onto something. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much. Well done, Donna and Justice. We'll take a break. I think it's a nice natural break before we conclude with our final 2 teams. So why don't we say we come back at 8:15? Okay, thank you. Permission?
Christy, I want to ask a quick question.
Yes, Eddie.
I've noticed for some presentations, the PowerPoint deck may be cut short. To make sure you see the full presentation, there's a view options and you can fit to 100%. That way you can see the full content of the presentation. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about or it's been a problem with anyone else. Just want to point that out.
Yeah, thank you, Eddie. That's a good tip there. Yeah, so in the Zoom control, there's view options. You could fit to window or like Eddie said, 100%, which is the original size. All right, so we're reconvening. We'll let Alan and Carla kick it off. As soon as you guys start speaking, I will start our clock.
Awesome. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. As Christy mentioned, my name is Alan Darte, and I'm with my partner, Carla Hendricks. We're two entrepreneurs who are excited to be here tonight to show you how we can expand our agency's impact exponentially. And actually, the unique part about our pitch, quote unquote, tonight is that this isn't for investors. This is actually designed for our board of directors.
Safety Center 2.0 is an innovative business model that helps DUI offenders satisfy their court-ordered programs to obtain their driving privileges back. By offering a convenient one-stop shop will allow the clients to get all of their needs met in one place.
We have an extremely strong team. Carla is at the center of it. She's been with Safety Center over 20 years and is responsible for the development of our evidence-based curriculum. I've been in sales and marketing for over 20 years. I'm the business development manager, and our CEO is actually an alum and former board member, Darrell T. Over the years, we've evolved. As I mentioned, we're an entrepreneurship team, so that makes us unique. But we're taking, entrepreneurship is all about looking at an old business through an entrepreneurial eye. Our organization's been around since 1934. Our alcohol and drug program that we're highlighting tonight was founded in 1971. But 2020 happened to be a year that caused a major pivot to get us to where we are today.
The problem, speaking with our clients, they tell us that the process of getting enrolled and jumping through all of the hoops that you need to get your license reinstated is just too difficult. The solution, Safety Center 2.0, a one-stop shop. We'll be able to have all of your needs met as far as your IID installation and your SR22, which is your insurance. Timing is great. The pandemic was like a perfect storm for us. We had to pivot really quick when the pandemic started and we had to shut down. We had to automatically go virtual. Everything went online like most of you all did as well. Regulations had loosened up during the pandemic, which allowed us to be very creative. All of our services are held online via Zoom, which makes it more convenient for the client to get to the program, the required classes, in the comfort of their own home.
So our traction right now is just off the charts. Year over year from 2018, we see that 2019 was a slight increase, literally roughly around 1,000 enrollments those 2 years. But in 2020, we saw over a 200% increase in our enrollments to just under 2,400 total enrollments. So our target market is very simply DUI drivers, and as well as the current or prospective DUI program providers throughout the U.S. We provide a curriculum, a counselor manual, and we'll dig into some of those details a little bit later. So our two target markets are both the drivers that are trying to get back on the road, as well as other programs throughout California and throughout the country who offer these programs. The total market right now in terms of the client's approach, in terms of looking at enrollments, if we just focus on California, there's approximately 120,000 DUI arrests in California. according to the information from 2017. In our markets, we actually function in 3 counties currently. That's Sacramento, Yolo, and Stanislaus. There were over 6,000 DUI arrests in those markets. We just in this last year, 2020, we serviced over 2,400 enrollments, which puts us approximately at almost 40% market share, a little over 40% market share. So we're confident that our actual serviceable attainable market is just over 50%.
Our direct competitors are Terra Nova, Bridges, and OHS, which are other DUI providers. We are in 3 counties, as Alan had mentioned. We are the sole provider for 2 of those counties, which are Yolo County and Stanislaus County, which means all DUI offenders who are in that county who enroll in the program will be our customer. The competitive advantage.
So what we see here is that, in a nutshell, we're already showing efficacy. We're already doing this. We've already created the one-stop shop. We actually have, to Carla's point earlier, there's 3 main things that a person who gets a DUI needs to get in order to get back on the road. They got to enroll in one of these classes. They got to get one of those breathalyzers put in their car, and they have to get the insurance certificate to show that they've notified their insurance. Our goal is to essentially, we're one of the only, we are the only operation that you can come into and have one call settle all of those issues for you. And the other thing that I pointed out earlier is that Carla has created this amazing evidence-based curriculum that has already, become popular throughout the country. So our approach here is very simple. We want to expand our available markets. We've got our eyes on San Diego right now, and we want to dramatically increase our advertising spend so that we can promote more heavily. The way we make our money is through our self-pay program directly through the clients, as well as I mentioned, the curriculum sales through the other ADP programs, alcohol and drug programs throughout the country. So we provide a manual and we provide participant guides that we sell. Our ask is really more of a recommendation. Step 1 would be a diversion of funds into what we would like to consider a marketing spend, as well as key positions that we feel would be important for us to be able to successfully scale this business. We really want to hyper focus on expanding our reach for the curriculum sales, and we really need to focus on employment. We cannot keep counselors. We don't have enough counselors right now, so we need to expand there. Here's the financial forecast. At the end of the day, what we're asking our board to do is invest in 6 key positions first year, and to dramatically increase our marketing spend. We are confident that over a 5-year period, if we see a total investment of approximately $3.6 million over those 4 years, our total expenses would be $21.7 million. And that money would return $33.3 million. We're confident that we can create at least a 30% return on investment by simply redistributing funds and using our revenues to make key hires and enhance our marketing and advertising efforts. So with that, we appreciate your time and we look forward to your questions.
All right, well done, Alan and Carla. Definitely within the 8-minute time frame. Why don't we open it up for questions?
Christian here. I will surprise you. In my many years of being a tough mentor and judge, I would say they aced 100% perfect. Congrats.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. Wow. Thank you, sir.
As their mentor, I'll take that compliment as well. Great job, guys.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I have a question. Does your your curriculum, like this program, does it have a lifeline? Because well, I would hate to think, well, I'm sure you probably know better than I that, well, 120,000 drunk drivers per year. I mean, like that I would hope that would go down, and then that would.
I get your question. So one of the things, and Carla would be great to speak towards this, but one of the very cool things that we saw statistically is that yes, actually DUI arrests over the years have shown to start to decrease. Unfortunately, fatalities have not. And what we're seeing is that this is just not one of those social conditions that's going away.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Great. Sienna, you have your hand up.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic job. I mean, I agree with Christian. I just had one silly little point, and that was your financial forecast. The numbers are fantastic, but from a visual standpoint, I got a little bit like my eyes sort of crossed over at a certain point, and I think that your numbers are really valuable there. So maybe just something that's a little bit visually appealing, that just like makes your point, right, from your expenses to the value or the revenue that stream that you bring in, so they can really see that impact and that validation there from a financial standpoint. Other than that, fantastic job. Obviously, you're filling a gap. You already have your MVP model in place, and you guys are making an impact. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the biggest challenges, is how to make numbers look good.
It always is. It always is with pitches, right? Because you don't want to leave anything out. But remember, what you can always do is you want investors to ask you for more in that regard oftentimes, but you want to be as clear as you can be. And it's a really important piece. It's hugely important, right? It's like one of the biggest pieces for people giving you money. So yeah, so you can always get, hey, I'll send you over an extra spreadsheet and validate what we're saying, but this is the snapshot. Anyways, that's just from my perspective, but great job, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Sienna.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Listen, this was a good presentation. I thought it was really laid out well. I also noticed that, with the .org, you guys are a nonprofit, so you're not your typical startup and everything when you're looking at, Delaware C Corp, S Corp, LLC, what have you, and everything. So, unfortunately, I know too many guys that think they're the smartest guy in the room in Silicon Valley. And one of these people are going to ask what I think is one of the most obvious questions. When self-driving cars become apparent on the road, what happens to your company?
Great question.
Well, I see a lot of, I've been asked this question by lots of board members as well. And I find it really funny because I see cars from 1960 still on the road. So I think we're going to have these cars riding around for a long, long time way after I'm gone.
Yep. A great point. And the other thing is, which we didn't delve into here, and it would be a great conversation to take offline, but we actually have 3 other departments that have additional revenue streams as well. And so right now we're actually in the process of strategically building our workplace safety training department. And so we forecast that as these things start to scale down a little bit, we'll be able to supplement that with our other departments.
Okay, good.
I'd like to reply to George that the wine industry is booming.
Yes.
Let's talk, guys.
Send me a bottle, Christy.
My pleasure.
One of the other questions I had regarding the pitch and everything, you had I believe it was 90,000 for year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5 on advertising. What venues would those encompass? Where are you going to be spending that advertising money?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So our focus would be on Facebook ads. It's basically going to be where we're having the most success as far as our presence is concerned right now. We just need to enhance it and scale it. So right now we have great visibility on Facebook, LinkedIn, There's actually a Google Ads program for nonprofits that gives you a free $10,000 a month for Google AdWords that we didn't reflect here because it's free money. And then the other thing is we're having great success with the one traditional form of marketing we're having great success with is billboards. Yeah. And so right now those will be the primary sources. And then the reason why there's more money year one is because we want to make a robust investment in our website. And then from that point forward, that would be kind of like a one-time kind of refresher. And then we'd probably look at doing that again around year 6.
Alan, I'm sorry, did I miss it? What is the ask? How much are you asking?
The ask is for the additional head salary of the $264,000 year one and the additional marketing advertising spend of $94,500, and then the additional head salaries progressively year over year with the consistent. We are not currently investing in marketing and advertising, period. If you were to, I mean, we're probably, a fraction of this, 5% of this. So this is a big ask for our organization to actually invest in marketing and advertising. Those key positions would be marketing positions and a call center specialist position.
So probably the ask would be for probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $900,000, right?
Correct.
For those first 2 years. Right?
Those first 2 years, correct. Just under 900,000.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Got it. Thank you.
Jim, did you have a question? I wasn't sure if you were raising your hand.
No, I really just wanted to make a comment. I would agree with the panel that this is a superb, concise presentation. I find it, in my recollection, the best entrepreneur pitch I think I've ever seen. And I imagine Darrell had his hands on this a little bit, but the two presenters were superb. And it was a joy to listen to. And I think it might be a great use for other organizations to do an entrepreneurship play, and it might enhance the community in that regard.
I agree with you, Jim. I think we should use this presentation as a benchmark for future crops.
Yeah, it's just superb overall. And back to Sienna's point, yeah, I like the presentation being only 8 minutes. I think it's great. And as Sierra said, it's really purpose to wet whistle your whistle and get the questions flowing. And the more questions, the more interest, and the more answers that satisfy an investor at this stage, the better. So I'm really impressed with this presentation, as I have been with the others as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well done. Thank you so much, Carla and Alan. Truly impressed, especially, where you started and where you are. Yes. We're gonna have a celebratory drink of your choice.
Thank you, Christy, for always being encouraging. Appreciate you.
All right.
Shout out Anthony for
and Anthony
being there for us and our other mentor.
Alejandro.
Very grateful to this program. Thank you guys.
Right.
I'm humble.
Yeah, definitely blessed with good mentors there. Okay, so why don't we take a 5-minute allocation to complete your evaluation, and we're going to start up at 8:40 with our final team, Eddie of Future Gen. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Hopefully you had a chance to complete your evaluation for Safety Center 2.0. We now have our final team. I'm excited to listen and see the personal and professional growth of Eddie, who will be pitching Future Gen. Over to you, Eddie, and I will start our timer when you start speaking.
Thank you, Christy. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you. Thank you for your time to listen into a challenging question that students and young adults face at a pivotal point in their lifetime, and that is, what do I want to do in the future? Now, with this said, my name is Eddie Mozuriegos, and I'd like to introduce Future Gen. So Future Gen is a technologies company that is focused primarily on helping students and young adults talent facing that question and helping them on that journey to answer the question of what they want to do in the future. In tangent to this, we're also facing how we're trying to match and align the challenges that employers face in finding best fit talent for their organizations. But is this really a problem? Well, this is how I'm going to really phrase this. It's the fact that I'm going to make a statement and see how you guys think about it. And that's essentially, I'm going to assume everybody here is employed or self-employed. And how you guys got there wasn't a straight, like, linear line of success. It was full of ups and downs and figuring things out after falling off your feet and standing back up. Well, this is often the journey that's experienced too for students and young adults who are trying to figure themselves out. Well, on the same side, that if you're on the employer side, when you're growing your business and you're acquiring talent, finding talent, and identifying it to work for your organization, it's sometimes you end up having turnover, and that can lead to operational challenges. So going past this, I guess the big numbers I want to look at, or just the market in general, is that there are over 30 million high schoolers and post-secondary students that are enrolled in the US right now, that at some point they most likely are asking themselves this question, maybe at different levels of urgency, but at some point they have to face the music. Well, at the same time, for employers, as they're growing, nearly 30% are experiencing turnover. And again, if you're growing a business, how can you really build a business when you're having to also retrain and train and acquire and identify talent? Well, how we want to go ahead, and our team wants to go and focus this, is that we want to provide a full service dedication line from how talent can go ahead and identify what it is that they want to go ahead and do, in the sense of through a rotational mentorship program or rotational career exploration program, where they get the opportunity of meeting a working professional in an area of interest, and month by month be able to go ahead and get exposure. And how this is all driven is through a survey that is submitted by the customer or by the talent, and it's asking questions that, again, help us identify in a data-driven solution what it is that they could be possibly interested in. Maybe it could be a field in finance, it could be a field in consulting, it could be a field in who knows what in the community. And the same thing also goes for employers, but I'll touch on in a second. Once a young adult or a young student goes ahead and identifies a career of interest, what our team does is we go ahead and dive into a customized career roadmap, helping them step by step how to get there. Another value add that our company is dedicated to resolving, also building a sense of community between young students who are also in this journey of searching, and also working professionals who are just curious to know who else is out there and just looking to socialize. And the way we also identify that as a pain point is just in general, just looking at the market and through and through surveys taken by other mentorship programs in the San Francisco area. But another value add is also kind of looking at the talent matching between employers who are looking to hire talent, and also, again, the students who are looking to build their careers and pursue their passion. And again, how this could be looked at is essentially a company and employer is looking to go ahead and find talent and are facing challenges going through agencies, but maybe want to go through an alternative route and seeing, having recommended students or young talent that would be a good fit in the organization of the company for their needs. So pushing past this, the Future Gen, again, as a technology, is looking at three points in time. One is, again, developing the core materials that we just talked about, then hiring so we can go ahead and build the algorithm to go ahead and create data-driven solutions, to go ahead and recommend, again, talent to career areas of interest, and also companies to potential best fit employees. This will require 2 rounds of funding, and it'll be primarily focused on hiring talent. Again, there are 3 major timelines, this is a 3-year look at a glance, where again, in year 1, we build our curriculum, and in our roadmap by year 2, by the end of year 2, we go ahead and build an algorithm that is being a pilot program that is driven by all the data collected from the participants. And by year 3, we are cash flow positive and able to go ahead and scale. So who's the team? Just being really brief, it's a team from UC Davis. We are all really, I want to say, working professionals in the sense of after college, we went ahead and pursued either interest in entrepreneurship or also in consulting. I can dive into our characters because each of us bring our own set of talent, but just moving forward. So why is it that makes us different, or what's our competition that's going on? Well, our team has also went ahead and looked at what's currently available and what are potential process gaps that are set. And so I guess the key takeaway to take from this is essentially our team does look into and cherry pick the best industry practices to go ahead and look and bring into our practice. So I guess our career model or our business model is essentially looking at 4 primary cents of revenue. Again, is that career exploration program, that career roadmap, that community aspect that has that networking, and also the talent matching for enterprise for employers. We do expect that in the career exploration program, that college students, high schoolers, and young professionals are potentially going to be reoccurring and want to gain additional exposure into what's possibly out there. And at some point, we'll pick a career of interest, and that'll be a one-time potential opportunity to go ahead and help them build a roadmap to get to where they're going. And in respects to community, it's a form of like networking or networking opportunities for all parties to go ahead and come to meet. And also for talent matching, it's more focused towards the employer. I can dive into that.
Sorry, Eddie, time's up here.
I did a real quick closer like everybody else, a 30-second.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. So there is a need. I got now that I had this all together. Okay, 30 seconds. There is a challenge. This is a multi-generational challenge that needs a 21st century solution. And now's the time to go ahead and act on this. There is technology that's out there. There is a team that's out there, but again, there is statistical data-driven solutions to go ahead and start tackling this program, but it's not focused into this market. Students and young professionals are looking to go ahead and find what they're looking for. And our team is here to do it. And yeah, we'd like to help with that. Yes, sorry.
Thank you, Eddie.
Okay.
All right, well done here. Why don't we open it up for questions and feedback? We'll start with our judges.
I'll go ahead and start. Hi, Eddie. This is Nikki. Well done. I thought that it really was a significant problem that you were solving. I'm at UC Davis. I work in this kind of with this problem a lot, and it's usually with companies looking for talent and wanting to connect with students, and how do you go about doing that? So I see the definite need for this. I got a little bit lost when wanting to know what your ask was. I think that I wasn't very clear on where you were going with that, but I do see this as something that can be useful. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you, Nikki.
Eddie, good job. Good job. You know, one of the things that I've always found fascinating is the number of college graduates that take an absolute lousy job when they graduate, just to have a job, you know, and it's not the job that they're suited for. So I know there's a high percentage of young adults that do that, because how else can you explain how everybody screws up their lives in their 20s? I mean, this has been going on for generations. It's not just indicative of what your generation is going through. It's happened time and time and time again. So being able to have a tool that they could use that can help put them on the path to the right job at graduation with the right company doing the right thing that they're suited for, hopefully will help them get out into the business world and become successful and actually love what they do. And I see that as a core strength of what it is you're trying to do. I also see, you know, you're trying to boil the ocean. You're trying to be a solution for everyone. So I think that in time, as you break this down, is this going to be a solution to help people who are graduating from college find the right job? Or is it going to be a solution for companies to be able to find those people that they desperately need to find and fit a space that they have available in their company? Now, hopefully, in the best case scenario, those would be in tandem, on point, and both will be working for the benefit of not only the company but also the employee. Unfortunately, that isn't the case all the time. They need a body, they need a warm body, they need somebody with a college degree that fulfills a certain type of experience that they're looking for and everything. And it doesn't necessarily mean that the applicant, this isn't his dream job, his dream post, or what have you. So I think narrowing the scope is going to help you a lot get this thing launched. And then as you come out with versions 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, you can add those different components into this thing. Because I think what you're trying to build is massive, just massive. And I think it's something that's, it's going to take a lot of developers to be able to have to come up with just an MVP. So I think you're headed down the right road, because there is that problem that exists currently, and and it still has been a bone of contention for a lot of people going out and finding not only the first job that they don't like, but the first job that they hate. And you want to avoid that at all costs with the solution that you're proposing. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And what was the ask again?
The ask is a total investment of $370,000 to fund the first 3 years of this business before it's cash positive by year 2.5.
Yeah. And that's how big's the team?
The team is starting up at 3 and will need to grow at a minimum of 3 times by the time we are entering year 3.
Okay. Fine. Good. Good luck, man. I think you're headed on. I think you're onto something.
Thank you, George.
Are you on the Eddie? Are you on the Big Bang track as well?
I am not in the big bank.
Okay. You know, with some teams prior years who've done it in parallel, I think you would benefit also from their perspective.
Yeah, no, it's from the sounds of it, there's a proven track record of SCA making their journey to big bank.
You'll be there.
That'd be definitely a milestone.
Well, we'll be starting the competition again in October, so you're more than welcome.
Thanks, Nikki.
Yeah, I was just saying that the gauntlet has been thrown out there, so we welcome people to follow on the footsteps that have won, who have won.
That's really great.
All right, any further comments or questions? We have about 5 minutes. Oh, Jim, please.
Eddie, I thought you created a nice sense of portraying the problem. There's a solution. I think you're onto it. You need to always be closing. You had written a great close or had a great close in your mind. It had all the words to be a phenomenal close, and you fumbled it. You can't fumble your close, young man. I think you're on to something. It's impressive as all get out. Your team is impressive. I think this type of program in golf, when golfers are playing and they're trying to reduce the dispersion of their shots, so their bad shots aren't as bad as they were before. And this program can help young people follow a better path initially, so their dispersion will be tighter and it'll be closer to hopefully their passion. So I like what you're doing tremendously. It's excellent. So good luck to you, Eddie.
Thank you, Jim. And next time, I promise not to fumble.
I know you won't, Pards. I know you won't.
Actually, Eddie, we have a couple minutes. Would you like to take the opportunity of just saying your closing?
Oh, just for just overall for the whole program, or just for tonight?
No, just because I think, well, you got cut off. So if you wanted to take the opportunity to kind of, highlight your closing for your pitch, we can take the remaining minutes to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love a second runner-up. I guess hope I don't strike out on swing two. I guess in mind, how I had it envisioned was something along the lines of, this is a multi-generational problem that needs a 21st century solution. And the problem to solve this is now, as it was years ago. And well, with just thinking that just in mind, why aren't we doing anything about it now? My team right now is looking for an investment to pilot and scale future gen into a service that can go ahead and deliver and really help be a guiding hand for talent who are looking to go ahead and identify their passionate career, and also employers to find this talent and identify it to help their organizations grow.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice job, Ed.
Super.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? We'll wrap up.
Christian here. Eddie,
Yes.
Another comment. I mean, I like what George said also on boiling the ocean. I mean, the number one mistake startups do is try to be everything for everybody. And you're tackling a momentous problem, which is, a huge unmet need, huge pain point. Just unfold your story on a very narrow path first, get your beachhead, own it, roll it out, and expand. And then you'll be the next LinkedIn, I promise. But just be focused.
Thank you, Christian. I think the way I really look at this is right now we go ahead and again focus towards like the college students who are going ahead and having this pain point, and eventually go and penetrate into the high schooler market. And again, once we have enough data to go ahead and start messing around with really being able to scale this, again, in my head, there is this roadmap that's there that I unfortunately did probably not deliver in clarity here, but I totally understand, like, again, break into chunks. This is the problem, but break it into actionable chunks. And that's I'll go ahead and deliver that better next time.
Eddie, you're on your way, Pard. You're on your way, I'm telling you. Christy, I cannot tell you how much I've enjoyed this, even though I had to break away for a bit. It's a tribute to you and all the hard work you've put in over the last 3 or 4 years. And coincidentally, going through your own path has made you even sharper, better in your role with the Academy. So great hats off to you, Christy. I have so much admiration and respect for you. And I also want to say, George, it is an absolute pleasure. This is my first time on Zoom call where I can say I really enjoyed meeting someone I didn't know before.
Well, I listen, this was a pleasure. I just want to say all 4 companies that pitched tonight, you know, the scope of what it is that they're all trying to do is, you know, hats off. You know, God, you know, you all have great ideas, great ideas. Now it becomes one of those things where you've had some training, you have mentors, you have advisors, you probably talk, or you're lining up lawyers to incorporate your, you know, your startups. You know, in the best case scenario, after doing this for as long as I have, and the preparation that, you know, that you're going through right now, you're really never going to know until you launch. You know, you really won't, you know, and that'll be where it starts to get fun. That's when it starts to get exciting. That's when it starts, you know, I'm getting out of bed and man, I'm going to tear a new one in the world today and everything with this product and with this service. So, you know, what it is that you're trying to do is admirable. What it is that you're trying to do is fantastic. And for a first time here and everything, hats off to everybody that has put everybody through their paces, because whatever it is that you're doing it right. And for the entrepreneurs who are coming, you know, around the corner, all Godspeed, all success to every one of you. All right.
George, if I may piggyback just one quick comment, Christy, on what George said. The idea, a famous professor of mine who actually gave us the idea for the Academy, who simply said, entrepreneurs should replicate themselves. He once said, the idea is 10%, the execution is 90%. But you got to take the journey, and it starts with the first step. And for a lot of you, this first step has been fantastic. So the array of judges were superb. Deanna, it's always a pleasure to have you involved. Sienna, of course, Lori, it's fantastic. And Nikki, it's always good seeing you. Great job, everybody. It's a joy for me. I can tell you that from my heart.
For sure. And I feel like, you know, we attract such a high caliber group of people. You know, I'm constantly inspired. You know, it's a reason why, you know, I'm excited every time we have a session just to see you guys, because I get as much as you know, as you think you get, I actually get it in multifold. So thank you for, you know, inspiring me in everything that you do. It's nice to see different classes here gathered here, as well as being able to bring other people such as George outside our community to be a friend of the Academy. It makes our community stronger, you know, 35 years strong, right? So it's a phenomenal legacy that we attributed to Jim Corbett. And, you know, it's my legacy as well as a founding fellow. And I'm just honored to be in your company. So thank you, everyone. We're going to conclude. I know everybody's tired of Zoom, but we have one final one, which is our graduation. So I hope that you can join us for next Wednesday. We're going to celebrate the graduating class of 2021, and we get to announce the winners from today's competition for the business plan. Also, if the Zoom thing, if you're completely fatigued, please join us on July 21st when we actually are planning, we're going back to an in-person event. We have our 2021 showcase taking place at the Vizcaya Pavilion. So this is another opportunity for us to celebrate the achievements of our 2021 fellows, and they'll get another opportunity to pitch, and it's going to be for Best in Showcase. And it's an opportunity for us to network with other alums and our community leaders that have supported us throughout all the years. Lori, did you want to say anything else? Maybe you could kind of close us out today.
Well, just amazing job to everyone. I feel very fortunate to have watched your evolution. Typically, I would have not attended all of the sessions, but because of Zoom, I was able to. So just super job again, high caliber presentations. You were all awesome. It was just really fun to watch. Thank you to our judges and mentors. And Heather, round of applause for Heather for being our historian and just always keeping a history of what we do. So just really appreciate you as well. And Christy, of course, thanks for driving the bus. You know, thank you. We wouldn't be where we were if it weren't for you. So.
All right. On that note, we're going to end it on a high note. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so proud of all your accomplishments. And again, thank you for inspiring us, and thank you for continuing our legacy. Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thank you. Same to you, Christy.
Bye, Christy. Thank you.
Right.
Bye, all.
Love you guys. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Christian.